Hello guys, we are in the last part successfully, and this is the episode 5. I guess this is the last episode. As you remember, we actually wrote two services, account service and API gateway service. As a gateway to receive the request from the client side, the sign up and the sign in method, and it captures these two requests and sends them to the account service using a RabbitMQ. So our microservice with one simple service called account services working. And as you remember, I'm going to actually run start npm run start dev and npm run. So let me run the both projects. Run start dev. So it will run both of them in the watch mode. As you remember, we added watch to make the hard reload work. So in the last part, we came to the account controller, and inside the account controller, we made a sign up. We sent some user information uh, inside the MongoDB that we created with the messer@tester.com username. And when we started to sign in, it actually didn't log in. So we will cover that login part today at the last episode of our tutorial. And actually the login part, it just didn't anything other than returning the user that was found in the database. It didn't return any token, any cookie information, nothing. Just return the user data. So as you remember, in our Rebel Mongo, we actually cover that user that we registered here with name master tester and just that. So I'm waiting to project that both projects to start right now. After that, we will cover the login actually. So how we can just make a login. And for this purpose, I'm going to use JWT as a token. So we will, after the login, we will just return a JWT token. Okay. So with user, we actually returning JWT. So we by using that, we will actually make a login and some other things like authguard that we'll cover in this video. So let's start. So when you come to the Nest.js documents, you can see in overview there's a guard section called guard. As the picture says, the request comes, guard checks, and if it is okay, it will allow to go to the controller and service and etc. So guard is actually some kind of middleware or something like that, but it's not actually middleware. Guards are executed after each middleware. So guard is for its own is a different methodology. Okay, so and it will execute it before interceptor or pipe. So actually, we can just assume guard is just a guard, what it means. So guard actually, what it does, it captures the context. So every request comes with the context. So context actually contains a request. So with the context, we can actually capture it inside the auth guard. It allows us to actually have the request inside. So we actually access the header, the body, and anything else that comes inside the request. So it actually is what we need. Okay. So we will cover roles guard 2 in this video. So auth guard actually is just checking for, okay, you have a token. For this purpose, you can use cookie or whatever you like. We will check token here. And in the roles guard, actually, we will not just checking the token, but the role like admin or user or, for example, moderator or something like that. So we'll check if it is not admin, for example, we will return false. So if we return true as a result of this, part, it actually allows, tells the guard, okay, you can tell the request, okay, you can pass to the controller or not. So before coming here, before pathing to this part, there's a section inside the documents called security, and inside the security there is a section called authentication. I'm going to open the authentication part. It will come up. Okay, my internet is dying, I guess, today. So let's hope that will come up. Okay, maybe some VPN we need. I don't know. Okay, let's just have, okay, maybe some VPN we needed for this purpose. I don't know why. But okay, so the authentication is essential part of the most applications. These are different approach and strategies to the authentication. So for this purpose, Nest team offers using the passport as the most popular Node.js authentication library. So in order to do that, we're going to use a passport. You can use another library, another helper methods, your own helper methods, but I'm going to use a passport. Okay. So if you know that, notice that I'm not going to install it everywhere. So the purpose of account service is that we actually can install the password in one service and use it everywhere. Okay, so the purpose of making everything simple is that actually. So in the right terminal, I have opened the account service as you see. So I have to stop it and install the passport package actually. The all things that we need to make passport work in Nest.js. So I'm going to wait for that. You have to just you know move forward the video for this pass this installation parts. So okay, that's done. So as you see, it's installed the passport essential package, and it has in the documentation has some users, static users not inside the database, and it comes the user and it goes to make us auth service, and it validates the user, so it tries to find user from the database and it returns the results. Until here, everything we have done it before, but after that we have to add a local strategy to our account service. So I come here inside, I close the packet before lowering the complicated parts. Inside the identity module, inside the account service, I'm going to create folder, and I'm going to call this folder strategies. Okay, strategies. I hope I have written the name right. So in this strategies, we're going to add strategies that is offered by Passport. So Passport library comes with the strategies. Okay. If you have worked with the Passport or not, but it does like this. Maybe you can comment to the video. Okay, deep in the Passport. I'm just going to focus on Nest.js today. So I'm going to call this passport strategy local of guard. Okay, local of guard dot typescript. And for I mean for in order to use actually the local auth guard more easier, I'm going to actually create this strategy right now. And I convert it to a guard in order to make it more easier to use. Okay, it doesn't have anything else. Okay, we'll cover it all the parts together. It's not complicated, but it has something that we can actually get focus on. Okay, So it's here, our strategy is created. So I'm going to import this strategy. Let's figure out how we can actually add the strategy. Yeah, I'm I'm very old today. Okay, strategy from the passport local, I guess. Yep. Okay. So we have to import the strategy. We have to import the passport passport strategy. This word is hard to read actually. Passport strategy from the Nest.js passport. Thank you for the code completion. And we have to import injectable from the Nest command. I don't know how to just find out that I need this, but it's okay. We have to add unauthorized exception to from the Nest.js command. So it will allow us to actually throw some, through some exceptions. Okay, we have to import the as it's not auth service actually, it's identity service from identity service. Thank you very much. So we have imported everything that we need. So it's time to write the functioning of this strategy. So this strategy that we're going to use is actually an injectable attribute. It hires that injectable, so we will use it in other controller or services. So it will be injectable. And for the expert class local, you can call it everything you like, but my copilot helps me somehow to actually finish the code somehow. A local strategy extends passport strategy. Okay, so I'm just going to close. So as you see, it actually extends this passport strategy, and it comes with a parameter called a strategy. So we can use the main definition of the passport here without any problem. And we can create the desired strategy. And it is simple. I'm going to show you how that simple can be. In order to use the identity service, I have to inject that inside the constructor. And a constructor needs the super because it's injectable. And makes we can call this validate. So as you see, if you come to the Nest.js documents, it comes with validate. So validate is a predefined function name that needs to return some object which is not false. If it returns a false, so it will not work. Okay, so it means that it is false. We can throw some error or something like that. So async validate. So this section is important, and I'm going to tell you how we will send the user and the password here, and how does it work actually. So it is done by the passport strategy. So it actually automatically captures the username and the password method from the body, and it comes to the validate. Okay, so it is very easy functioning that help us to actually it's like, okay, something is pre-written and automatically, which is quite standard, and it helps us to actually not write the code so much. So I have written this function before, so it allows me to identity service dot login. So we can try the login here. So I'm going to log in here with the username and password. And if the user, so the logic inside the login will become here. Okay, so actually the login method will be added to this part, added to this section. Okay, and the login in our method return, okay, it's a login DTO. Okay, so I'm going to actually create var login DTO, inheriting the any or something like that, but I will change it. I will change it. So if I come back here, it comes here, and it is inheriting the login DTO. Okay, so it's a login DTO with user and the password. So come here, and it returns. Okay, so it has just username and the password. Okay, so do I have to import this guy? Yeah, I have to import this guy here. So if I put this, it will work right now. So if the user couldn't be found, it will throw error. Otherwise, we have to just return the user. It is pretty easy to write, but the actual login section is here. I put it inside the console log either to actually show, okay, this method is being called or not. Okay, so in order to use this strategy easily, I want to convert it to a guard. So the section that actually captures the username and password is done by guard. So I need to describe this strategy. Okay, this is a guard. So the guard use this uh, strategy. So and the guard will use the functioning strategy to actually make the login from the not I mean the logic inside the guard is inside the guard. So inside the strategy, Asgard does will use it to make it possible to use it inside the control or service wherever you want actually. So the guard itself again is injectable, and you can call your auth guard uh, local auth guard because it's using the local strategy. So by using this guard, I'm able to use it everywhere. Okay, so when I call it, actually the strategy gets called and it will retrieve the username and password parameters from the body, and it is very easy from after that. Actually, it is very clean way to actually check the user is logged in, the login information is true or not. One more thing is imagine we have logged in and this strategy is returning the user. We have to add one strategy either to actually capture the token sent by the client side and return the user information from that uh, token. So actually open up and decrypt the token by using again the password. So I'm calling this a strategy, JWT strategy dot TypeScript, and again, in order to use it as a guard, I want to make it simple to use. So I'm going to make it JWT auth again dot guard dot ts. Okay. So again, I'm going to copy everything from the local strategy and put it inside the JWT strategy, but we need some extra things. I'm going to maybe if it is added in the top, it's more easier to write. So it's gonna be extract. We're going to decrypt the JWT. Yeah. So you have to extract the JWT from the password.jwt, and it comes with a strategy. So passport JWT has two things called extract and a strategy, and we're going to use them to decrypt the token, given token. I don't need the local here. Okay. So it comes with the password strategy. Cannot find this module. So I'm going to. I guess we forgot to add it. So if I just yeah, my browser is dead. Okay, if I can find it, yeah, okay, it's still in the authentication section. So it is again JWT password. Actually, you can just install this part to install everything you need. But I'm going to more details so we can actually figure out more things in deep. Okay. So I don't need to install extra things to make the project to be more complicated. So while it's getting installed, okay, I can see that we have extract JWT, a strategy coming from the password JWT. The passport strategy, again, we need it. We have to make it injectable. We don't need to check, okay, the user authorized or not, and we don't need the login DTO. Okay, maybe we need some DTO, but okay, let's don't figure that out. Okay, we come here. I call it not local strategy, actually JWT strategy. Again, it has a parameter called strategy, which is coming from the password strategy. JWT, pardon me. We have a constructor, and inside the super constructor, we have to add some things. I guess we will not need the ident service, but let's keep it now. Okay. So again, my copilot auto writes the Nadix because I guess it has some knowledge about password, I guess. So JWT from request extract from auth header bearer. So at here, I do see the from auth header as a bearer token defines that, okay, we will extract user information from a bearer token type, okay? And we'll just ignore, ignore expiration false. So it will just check, okay, we are going to check the token inside, but before that we have to check if it is expired or not. And secret or key, it says, okay, secret key. So I added some here. This secret key that you define, okay? So Copilot defines some. You can right, you can write what, maybe a space, whatever you like here. Okay, so this is some high secured token like this that you have to provide yourself. I just write some some blah blah blah, and it comes to actually get the token information inside the validate. So again, we have the validate. And inside the validate, because it actually, uh, you know, the request comes with the token, so the payload is actually the contains the token. But because we added this JWT from request, ignore expression, or other things, it actually somehow understand to convert the token inside the header to some payload which is a decrypted form of the token. Okay, we will check it right now. I'm just going to put it inside the console, and the payload is actually a decrypted site or data from the JWT actually. Okay. So payload comes here. I have to just return. You can return whatever you like. I don't know what's inside the payload still, so I just return the payload. Okay. I don't know what's inside the payload. So in order to actually, reduce the complicate stuff, I have to add some payload here. So inside the console log, we will see what's inside the payload. Okay. So our strategy, JWT strategy is done. What we need right now, what we can do right now. So we have to check how we can use this strategies. We have local auth guard and JWT auth guard. In order to use it, as you remember, we had two methods called register, login. I'm going to add new a new function called me, and again here it's me, and it captures the command or request with the pattern of me and returns. We are not going to add it inside the service. You can add it, but here is me. So me will come with information. Okay, me will come with information. With the request will come with the token, that command, and the token before coming to the controller, as you remembered, what guard does, guard actually is last, I guess, middleware. We can call it the middleware. The last middleware before coming to the controller. So if you send it to, for example, JWT auth guard, as you write it here. Okay, we forgot about the guard. I'm going to add it right now. But if it comes to the strategy, it will capture the token and retrieve the user data. So if it is going to do that, it's actually, this is what we need. So before going to the controller, we send the token to the JWT strategy of guard, and we will retrieve the user data. So it will be very more easier to actually handle the user data. We will write this one time and we'll use it everywhere. Okay, so it's very, very easy to write in a Nest.js. Okay, and the guard, the strategy we're going to use is JWT, and we call it JWT auth guard. Okay, so the same thing is happening for the login. Before coming to the login and make okay user exists or user does not exist, we will actually simply check inside the guard, and after that we don't need to check the user, okay, this user exists or not. Okay, so the user or authorization methods are actually being handled by the strategies using the password. Okay, the code you write once and use it everywhere you like. Okay, so here we're going to write use guards. Okay, and we're going to use our local auth guard. Okay, so user local auth guard was the guard that was actually responsible to check, okay, user exists or not. So after that, we can actually access the user information inside the command. Okay, because it returns the user. If it is not, if the user is not existing, as you remember inside the strategy, it will throw an unauthorized exception. It is pretty straightforward method. So again, inside the me, I'm just going to use JWT local JWT auth guard. So it will capture the token and retrieve the user data. So I need to import it here. Okay, so I just stay inside the login. I send the user password from the API gateway, as you remember. I will just make a sign in. It will come to the identity controller here. It will go to the local auth guard here. And here we'll check, okay, user exists or not here. If the user exists, it will return the user. Just that. After that, we don't need to send the command body. Okay? So inside the command, because we return the user, okay, a passport puts a parameter called user inside our command. Okay, so our user will parameter coming from the local auth guard will be inside the command where we can access the user data inside this command. And I need the document because it comes from the what they say. It's comes with extra data. The user parameter is a predefined parameter. I just need the information, the exact information about the user, like the name, the password, the username, the version, the ID.
So in next video we will cover the ending part of the strategies in the Nest.js. So see you in next video. See you soon. Bye bye.